To my co-author of this paper, none other than Dr. Maria Melanie and Edig, to the committee of this 2022 International Research Festival. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Danielle P. Sumayang, a Master of Arts in Educational Management at Davao del Norte State College. I am one of your paper presenter for today. So let's get started. So the research title, Teachers' Experiences in Managing Modular Learning Approach in the New Normal Education. So here is the background of the study. Education sector is one of the most affected fields brought about by COVID-19 pandemic. The sudden shift of delivering education from traditional face-to-face to blended approach and modular instruction has posed great challenges to both teachers, students, parents, and other stakeholders. The adaptation of alternative modalities necessitates teachers to strategize certain actions that address the urgent needs of the implementation of modular instructions. So the purpose of the study, it sought answers of the following questions. First, what are the experiences that the teachers encountered in the implementation of modular learning approach in the new normal education? The second one, how do teachers cope, overcome the barriers and challenges as their school implemented the modular approach as the new learning modality? The third one, what are the insights of the teachers in the implementation of the modular approach in the new normal education? So, methodology, research design, qualitative design, and query-based phenomenological approach. Informant, 14 elementary teachers from Tagum South District, Tagum City Division. Research instrument, researcher-made interview guide validated by expert validators. So these are the steps in my paper sa data gathering procedure. First is identifying, second step, conducting interview. Next is transcribing. The fourth one is analyzing data, and the last part of it is the writing, research report writing. So the results are, so in the first domain, the live experiences of the teachers in the implementation of modular learning approach in the new normal education. So we have three themes. We have three themes also under the domain of coping mechanism of the teachers in the implementation of modular learning. Three themes also in the domain insight of the teachers in the implementation of modular learning approach in the new normal education. So let's have the discussion. So the live experiences of the teachers in the implementation of modular learning approach in the new normal education. So first of that is the adopted systematic method. So adoption of methodological approach must be adhered to for the teachers, parents, and students to have a common understanding of how the implementation of modular learning approaches may be enhanced. Thus, school leaders have significant roles to play, being the head of the school curriculum in achievement of development plans, including these various learning modalities in the new normal. So the second theme we have dealing with personal and undesirable parental practices. So when participants were asked about their challenges encountered in implementing the modular learning approach, they have identified dealing with issues on parental practices as emanated from their responses in the result of the interview. So it cannot be denied that parents play a significant influence on the learning and education of children. However, the participants of the study observed that some parents' practices are unethical, that instead of guiding and assisting their children in using the module for learning, parents and guardians are the ones answering the assessments and other learning tasks. In effect, the learners are not learning. Their parents are learning in the process. This is a common shared experience and observation among participants of this study. The last one is using varied communication modes. So here in these themes, inconsistencies or parental malpractice in assisting their child's learning progress has been an issue identified by teachers participants as improper practices because of the role of the parents is supposed to guide and assist, not to answer learning tasks and other assessment activities. Let's have the second domain. So here we have three themes also. First of that is the tapping stakeholder support and assistance. Participants in the study were asked about their specific measures, then to suffice with inadequacies, especially in the learning modules. They have shared interesting mechanism like using own resources to print and distribute the modules, sought support from the city government and some private sectors, responded to parents' concerns beyond working hours, source out funds like donation and sponsors for materials in the reproduction of modules. It only shows that the teachers have gone walking the extra miles with the learners just to provide substantial and quality education. The second theme for this domain is bridging learning gaps through technology. The participants highlighted bridging learning gaps through technology as one of the effective mechanisms they have adapted to address their challenges in implementing a modular learning approach. When questioned about their coping mechanism in this area, they suggested that it is important to use technology to carry the test effectively and efficiently. The third one is seeking advice and managing priorities. It can be indicated that seeking or asking advice from various sectors as well as managing priorities have a positive impact on the success of the implementation of the modular learning approach. The principal, together with the teachers, may employ an effective line of communication to the parents or guardians who are directly involved in assisting the learning in accomplishing modular learning tasks at home. So, the third domain, and that is the insight of the teachers in the implementation of modular learning approach in the new normal education. So here we created three themes. The first one is involving more knowledgeable others. So teachers participants shared that it is of paramount importance of involving knowledgeable others like parents and guardians who can assist their children in doing the learning tasks in the module and and shared responsibility in educating their children. They also stress that siblings can provide better guidance and assistance to their tasks and activities in the module. So it is also supported by us. Our Rule Summit 2018 magnified the claim of the participants that involving others can also be a great help to the children. The second one under this domain is the monitoring and evaluating progress. So, another interesting area being looked into this study is to cool out the innermost feelings of and thoughts of the teachers participants on the implementation of modular approach to the learning under the new normal setting. It is also very important to feature the insight of the participants since they are the teachers on the ground and their insights can contribute a lot to policy reforms, further training courses, and capacity building or an action plan needed to carry out the learning continuity plan of DepEd. And the last one is appreciating modular distance learning. So when teachers participants were asked about their thoughts on the implementation of the modular approach as an alternative mode of delivering instruction under the new normal setting, they have taken modular teaching on a higher level of blended learning modalities. They claim that the sudden shift of delivering education from traditional face-to-face to blended approach and modular instruction has posed great challenges to both teachers, students, parents, and other stakeholders. So, theoretical framework. So, this study is anchored on the discovery learning theory of Jerome Bruner, which proposed that learners construct their own knowledge and do this by organizing and categorizing information using a coding system. So this study also is supported by the concept of scope and dealt with the mayor 1981. So the conclusion of this paper, the first one is participants lamented that parents and guardians are the ones answering the assessment and doing the learning test. It simply implies that the school administration need to remind the parents and guardians about their limited roles in assisting their child in a modularized learning modality. The second one, teachers participants claim that they have higher risk of COVID-19 virus exposure due to physical distribution and retrieval of modules. It sends very clear message to DepEd authority to take precautionary measures so as not to risk the health of the teachers as a frontliners for this module distribution. The last conclusion, participants also aired out their difficulty in reproducing the modules because of the lack of materials for reproduction. It simply means that school admin must look for resources adequate enough to fund the reproduction of modules. So we have three recommendations in this paper. The first one of that, school administration may conduct a reorientation and re-educate parents and guardians on the roles of modularized instruction for their children. It may be a capacity building that discusses strategies and methods where parents can assist their children working their module. Second, DepEd authority may intensify the implementation of proper safety protocols and the well-organized system for the distribution and retrieval of the modules so as not to risk the health of the teachers. They might coordinate with LGU for the distribution and retrieval of modules. The last one, school principal and teachers might develop a double plan, including the budget funding sources for the reproduction of modules and connect with stakeholders for possible funding sources. So that's all for my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you all.